10 seconds remaining.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ESL One Hamburg South America qualifier matches. This is going to be Game 4, SGE 2-1 over Team Taka. And now's where we have some interesting games because Team Taka, the door is open for that sweet reverse sweep. And SGE, let's see if they're going to get in their own heads at all here. I'm Mike Loris, going to be joined by Xstein for the second game. Already, well, not really anything odd from Team Taka, but SGE, Jakiro first phase. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, the ban's very similar to our previous games here. Lich this time getting knocked out, but instead of Necrophos. So Necrophos does show up for Team Taka. They choose to pair it with that Ancient Apparition, which is kind of interesting. And then we're going to end up getting the Bat Rider picked up for SGE Sports. So Taka and Tavo not going to be picking that hero this time around.
Yeah, Tavo's going to have to play something else. It seems like he is very often on the Bat Rider and on the NP, and, well, those are both not available anymore, so we'll see what else he can play. I feel like he's only played the Bat Rider, though, because teams don't respect it enough to ban it or anything like that. Yeah. Like, Venge isn't really a hero that we see all that often. Occasionally Legion Commanders, but for the most part, Bat Rider lasts, so when you land it, it's going to stick. We'll see if SGE have any more luck here, opting to go for that one. I expect for Leposa. Does have a very good Bat Rider, Leposa. Instead of that Puck, which has been doing some pretty good work, that Puck, let's be honest. But it doesn't seem like it's really going to be in the cards anymore here for SGE. Along with that Jakiro, going to give them a little bit of extra tower pushing power, but Jakiro usually is going to be a hero more frequently seen picked third, as it's very rare to see a Jakiro banned out pretty much ever. But we'll see what they can do. We'll see how aggressive they want to be. I like the Pugna ban. Protects the Necrophos a lot, as well as protect your towers a lot. So SGE, maybe thinking about switching up their strats now that they can't get that little green skeleton.
Yeah, still pretty wide open in terms of how these teams might think things, take things. The second ban about to come out here before we get the first pick from Team Taka, and they will end up with the final pick overall.
Enigma is going to be banned out from SGE.
There's the Ember
Interesting
again.
To see. There's not many teams that will pick Enigma, let alone ban it. I don't think we've seen Taka do that before, but for sure, Ancient Apparition can be paired up with a Faceless Void still. That seems pretty reasonable. They're going to go ahead and grab a Nyx Assassin for Shadowburn now. Good hero to have versus that Bat Rider. Good spotting for the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. And yeah, it seems like Team Taka are doing pretty much the perfectly normal things. I mean, the Nyx Assassin also would have been great for SGE Sports to grab to try to get some answers to that Necrophos. So it does seem like SGE, they are up against just a rock-solid opening so far. And not to say their draft is bad, SGE, but it does seem like they need a plan. They need a direction here. So far, they don't have any.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what other support that they pick up to pair with Jackie Rowe that will help them, as you said, to develop more of a plan and strategy. It looks like it will be Bounty Hunter, so they'll push Jackie into the hard 5 role and have the Bounty Hunter roaming around. And we certainly saw some great work on the Bounty Hunter in the semifinals of this bracket.
It looks like SGE looking for a little bit of tempo at this stage in the game. With the Bounty Hunter, it may be a little bit difficult for SGE to actually buy space through fighting. Bounty Hunter is not really great at that, nor is Jakiro. They're kind of good at picking off that one hero or picking off towers if they aren't defended, but for sure Taka will be winning those brawls you would expect. But this type of style lends me to believe that for SG Esports, they want to go for like a Tinker type strategy or like an Arc Warden type strategy, really just try to split the map up and try to play that slow, grindy style pretty much map wide. Now, it's not going to be completely safe going up against Nyx Assassin. That was going to be fairly dangerous, but this is usually where this type of opening usually ends up, with a little bit of a split pushy type style. For Team Taka, however, they still need another support here, unless they want to put Nyx Assassin in that support, which isn't that bad. A couple of cores as well. They definitely do have their options. Like Venomancer is still in the pool. Isn't that bad here. Would in fact be a pretty good hero to select if they want to get that. Would like to see if they can apply some offensive tower pressure themselves, because right now they can't take towers worth a damn. They're really bad at that.
Mm-hmm. That's a big part of the objective gaming that comes with Dota, making sure that you're actually taking towers down, pushing the tempo, getting barracks, and killing that ancient.
Gotta defend the ancient, guys. That's what it's all about. It's what the job description is whenever you decide to play a game of Dota. For Taka, they're taking a sweet time here. What's it going to be? Yeah. It's a Doom. We've seen very few Dooms, and when we do see Dooms, it's okay. But for the most part, the Doom is usually picked up as an answer to one of these really soft intelligence heroes that typically see a lot of play nowadays. Most frequently, I guess, is the Necrophos. So if it came out from SGE, yeah, it'll be weird, but like matchup-wise, it'll be working out pretty well. Doom versus SGE on the Team Taka side seems like it's a little bit premature. Like, it doesn't really seem like they need a Doom right now, and for sure this hero, as strong as he may be, is a hero that you need to pick up for some specific reason. And it doesn't seem like that's here right now. SGE can just ignore the Doom.
Well, yeah, they might have been scared of SGE picking it up, which this would have been their opportunity to deny pick it, but they also, I guess they wouldn't have had a chance to ban before that last pick that ended up going to Bloodseeker.
It's going to be a little bit extra pick off there from the SG Esports side. Still thinking about going for that Arc Warden as, never mind, it's banned out.
Yeah, banned out.
But yeah, it's obviously that type of style is what SG Esports are angling towards. And for Team Taka, it's going to be quite a bit of initiation power from them. As far as answering this Bloodseeker is concerned, they definitely do have answers enough to kill off this hero. But yeah, Taka really just good at hunting down heroes and getting those killed off. Their cooldowns of the Scythe and the Doom and his Doom can be pretty darn important for actually playing this game. Because outside of that, Nyx Assassination Apparition, like their damage is kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, definitely could use a little bit more consistency with their game. Curious whether the Necro or what the mid matchup for, I guess, both of these teams might be. We still got one more ban out for SG. They'll probably throw it that way.
It's looking right now like it might be a mid lane Necrophos. Though side lane Necrophos with an Ancient Apparition is certainly very strong. Yeah, I'm not really sure what will happen then. Like a support Nyx, offlane Doom, and then just this last pick for the Team Taka side. Would need a little bit of extra damage, I feel. Control-wise, Taka have clunky controls styles like Doom, Scythe. It's not really just random stuns you're going to be throwing in, but for SGE, they have only really the lasso. Ice Path is fairly useful when you're dealing with a hero like Doom and Nyx Assassin, but other than that, their control styles are pretty clunky themselves, so initiation is going to be really, really premium here, and you'd expect the Bat Rider to be able to get it off most of the time. Team Taka don't really have any great answers to that Bat, except for the Nyx Assassin, who has to have like a Blink Dagger or Force Staff, or just be nearby if he's going to have any sort of response to a Bat Rider lasso. SGE, though, they're building up a draft that can definitely just take control of the game very early on, and then just run away with the game. If they pick up I don't really know if like Shadow Fiend is any good here. It seems like a little bit too fragile, but for sure one of these like more high damage, low health heroes, just to try to take down those kills faster and try to get a little bit of additional map control.
Outworld Devour maybe, but
again, you're counter picking up against a Doom. I would say like Alina above that, perhaps up against Necrophos is slightly better. A Mirana instead. Gonna run that back for ADR, it looks like. Taka now have the luxury of counterpicking that or just putting the Necrophos up against that Mirana. And I think Necro up against Mirana seems pretty reasonable. Yeah, you're going to be vulnerable to Bounty Hunter rotations, but you should be able to hold that lane down.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so 40 seconds left for Team Taka to make their final selection, to pick up their carry. And they're going to need something that can just deal with SG Esports, that can bring some damage into their fights. A little bit more control would be nice for sure, but they still have some options with Nyx and Doom, and at least getting Scythe to lock somebody in place for a little bit while they try to finish off the kill.
If they really want to play this game aggressively and just try to dominate the lanes, Venomancer is still in the pool here for Team Taka if they want to grab that. Otherwise, I've seen teams just like grab Monkey King or whatever. It's going to be an Invoker selection, actually, which is going to be played by Masha, so is going to have that matchup up against that Mirana. And yeah, everything else looks like it's going to be pretty much what we described. Necro safe lane, support Nyx Assassin, and Doom towards that off lane. But Invoker doesn't really have any easy setup here for a Sunstrike. He's going to give Taka a lot of valuable scaling, and the burst damage that he puts out along with the Necrophos, yeah, that is going to be a very, very large threat. But Invoker is so very easy for a bounty hunter to mess with in that mid lane, especially when he has a hero like Mirana with him. Just Starstorm with right clicks, you can get the kill really easily. If an arrow lands, obviously it's super easy. So this is going to be a pretty risky mid lane here for the Team Taka side. They need sentries to stick.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they're going to need to execute their game plan very well. Remaining. They had that Necrophos before and game 1, but just weren't able to get the momentum on it, get him up to speed with the farm. And they're going to need to be able to deal with Costa later as well. If Costa can just go toe-to-toe with the Necrophos, he's going to be able to run him down, get kills on him, and they will have difficulties dealing with that, and Mirana as well. If it's just the Invoker that's kind of hitting hard. But, you know, hopefully the Doom, you know, has a nice skill set. I think that if they play their team fights well, they hit that AA ult, they get Doom on the right person, and, you know, PTT lurking around, they should be able to do really well up against the SG lineup. But, you know, Mirana and Jakiro, Bloodseeker, Bounty Hunter, Bat Rider, there could be some really good ganks coming out from SG Esports. And, well, the start of last game, they were showing that they're just team play in regards to coordinating those sort of actions is very high level and has been effective. But then they sort of let things slip, and they were trying to initiate with bad fights and stuff. So if they keep their head level and they find good fights, their lineup could certainly do really well here.
I think for Team Taka, I would like their draft a little bit more if they had you know, spread the initiation burden out a little bit more. Like we see Puck very frequently in this series. We've seen quite a few Nyx Assassins, a lot of Bat Riders. Right now, like for Taka, the method to start the fights, it's almost got to be PTT or bust. Like he's not going to start the fight with you know, scouting out for someone. It has to be at that point a Doom with like a Shadow Blade or a Blink Dagger or something along those lines. And that's also just not really what you want to be doing with that's not really what we see from Doom in this patch. First of all, usually it's going to build very, very tanky items and just look to be just this giant brick wall. And even if you do land that Doom on someone, that doesn't actually guarantee you start a fight unless everyone else is there. You need like a tornado at that point or an ice wall just to try to control some of the opposition. So I think that that's probably the biggest weakness here that Team Taka have, and you can't really say the same about SG. They have an Arrow, they have Moonlight Shadow, they have Lasso, they have Rupture, they have all these tools in order to start these engagements. And already Theo spotted by the Ancient Apparition. Obviously he's going to try to go for this Bounty Rune steal, but actually, yeah, we'll see if he's able to make it happen. We do have Bardinho in the area. Dual Breath does a lot of damage. Liposa is here as well. The slows onto I Hit Anime are going to be really severe. They do fire the arrow a little bit too early, but doesn't even matter. There's a Death Pulse heal. I'm not really sure if it's going to do it. Theo is not willing to dive the tower here. I think they could have actually killed the Necro if they went for it. Real dangerous, of course.
Yeah, really tough call. I mean, you love getting first blood, but you definitely don't love feeding first blood underneath tower. That feels real bad. And Bardinho lurking behind this mid lane. He's also probably going to run into PTT here. Okay, no, actually PTT just walks right past him.
Invoker is going to get to the south first. They do see the Jakiro cross the street. He's going to go right towards that top lane. I thought he was, you know, in that position you usually are looking for a courier snipe. Jakiro, though, is not a fast hero. He didn't have an observer ward to see a courier that will be moving out, so not really a possibility. But already, I Hate Anime is... He had to take a very long trip back to the fountain. And the creeps were just spawning, so it doesn't really bother him all that much. But already we see him being just constantly poked and prodded by this bounty hunter. He needs this stick and the wand upgrade if he's going to survive at all in this lane. But it's going to be already like a lot slower than he would really like. A Bat Rider just needs one more creep kill right now to get level 2. And then he can just straight kill the Necrophos. Like, not even joking. That is entirely possible since the Necrophos does not have the magic wand yet.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get a lot of harass and just be really obnoxious in this bottom lane. The Bounty Hunter still lurking around in mid lane. ADR doing pretty good just in terms of harassment and is 6 and 3 on last hits.
He's going to get into a little bit of a fist fight here with PTT, but Nyx Assassin is very, very difficult to deal with. Even if he doesn't have a poor man shield, he still has that high base regen, still has a good amount of armor, and will deplete the Mirana's mana pool. But as you said, Mirana's still doing okay in the last hits. Invoker can't really challenge her, not until he gets level 2 or level 3 in the Exhort. And Theo, well, he is going to make a rotation in. There was a sentry in the mid lane. Looks like it has been cleared out. But killing off Masha is really difficult. If he micros at all, keeps the Forge Spirit in between him and the Mirana. Obviously, Arrow's not going to land.
Shadowborn trying to play games with the Chikiro up top. It's going all right for him. He's able to pull the lane, bring it back around. Theo is going to rotate over to his side, and we'll see if he is able to get some obnoxiousness done here. Oh, is he going to steal the bounty? He does, right in the face of Shadowburn. That is so obnoxious.
Shadowburn's trying to draw some aggro here. Body blocks, though. The creeps are going to get distracted by the trolls. Gotta kill the trolls. That's what you're paid to do, not attack the enemy heroes. And they'll all be killed off here. Shadowburn up against a double damage bounty hunter. He's got to be a little bit careful here. He just wants to stick around and get experience, but I think standing right here, you're still going to be able to see those creeps die. Either way, it is going to be bounty hunter still being an absolute nuisance, and well, this game is looking a little bit more like game 2 as opposed to game 3. We have we have a Bloodseeker obviously having an absolute free time up against no heroes. We have Mirana having a good time against the Evoker in bottom lane as well. The Bat Rider is rather unchallenged, although we'll get hit with an Impale and just dance around this Vortex. A couple more chilling touch shots, though, will get the kill. And it seems like I may have spoken a little bit too early. I was going to say SGE had firm control of 3 lanes, but seems like that is, again, a little bit too early to say.
Yeah, that was a nice pickup for sure. And Bat Rider just getting a little overwhelmed there. And now the rotation coming in towards mid as well as PTT is going to try to at least just annoy ADR here. It does get the mana burn on him.
Just looking to mess with this Doom. Fighting over this 4-minute bounty rune. Seems like that's entirely Theo's plan. There is another sentry over in the mid lane, and I gotta assume at this level ADR is paying attention to that and saying, hey, there's someone who just showed up in the mid lane. He had a sentry ward, and now he's not there anymore, so it's somewhere here. Be careful. But you know, Mirana, even with the Invoker right now, is not getting all that much help from the bounty hunter. Is going to secure himself a haste room, but there's not really many places where he can go to actually help out. I Hate Anime is going to be aggressed upon slightly here by Leposa, but a third hero showing up, and that's not going to be an option any longer. But still, this Bat Rider by himself is driving several heroes to this bottom lane, and Theo is going to find the courier, trying to juke this little whatever it is actually going to live.
Wow.
Sorry. Oh, that's kind of heartbreaking. Like, sorry team, I couldn't do it. I wasn't good enough. Yeah, they saw the courier kicking over. Leposa saw it. Leposa couldn't get a hit on it. If he had, that would have added enough damage for Theo to get the kill there. And he's going to stay middle here, but just kind of lurking around again. Not finding much, just being an annoyance. And they're gonna... Oh, they do get the arrow on PTT. Should be able to get the kill with the Starfall. So great wards from Theo, finding that rotation and calling the Mirana over to get the kill. So that was a nice pickup for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of really deep vision here for the SG Esports side. Nyx Assassin can't really do all that much when you're perma-stunned. PTT is going to now teleport towards top lane, with Shadowburn's holding the fort pretty well. Most of the CS that we see, though, I want to say, is just going to be random neutrals here and there, so it's going to be perhaps a little bit inflated. Oh, Leposa bottom lane will get dropped. 4 for 4. Looks like he's going to get dropped as well. Theo is going to die. Wow, those are death pulse in there. I did not see that cast.
Yeah,
there's a double kill for I Hate Anime. Now full HP, full mana on this bottom lane with phase boots is much more difficult for this Bat Rider to deal with now, but this does seem like it's pretty standard Leposa. it always seems like he dies a handful of times as the Bat Rider in lane and then comes back really, really huge once he gets his Blink Dagger.
They see the regen room bottom. Probably leave that for ADR. He can get over there, pick that up, fill up his mana back up. They're trying to make a move on I Hate Anime here, but it's probably going to be a tough one. They do have that Sentry Ward as well, so it did spot him out. Catapult chasing him, so he became aware of that. I was like, nope. And ADR throws out the arrow just because he can with that regen rune. Hits the Invoker with it. Is going to throw out the Starfall as well. Gets the Devil on Masha, so Masha hurting all of a sudden with all that damage.
And this build from Invoker is certainly an aggressive early one. At least he really wants to be able to contest this Mirana's farm. Just with his Exhort levels, just have massive base damage with the double Null Talismans is going to drastically slow down that Hand of Midas buildup, but make him do a lot of extra damage in exchange. Raindrop as well picked up on the Invoker is certainly getting its value here up against the Arrow landing, up against the Starstorm spam from ADR. But yeah, Masha is going to be playing a pretty slow Invoker style as of right now. Towards top lane, though, Doom has abandoned ship, is going to return with very little mana. But this is level 2 on Liquid Fire from the Jakiro. And there is a Rupture. Shadowburn can hold his ground here, but he does not have Scorch Earth. Never mind, he does get just enough mana to actually use it. And now the rotation in from I Hate Anime. Costa is dead to the Scythe. And the Sunstrike, that's good. And that's why you got to make sure you're gonna dive a Doom with caution, because this guy is incredibly tanky. He also had the Frost Mage armor on him, so +8 means that Bloodseeker can Rupture, but he can't really do much else.
Yeah, and just standing under your tower is pretty much the perfect spot where you want to be ruptured. Like, I'm cool here. I got a buddy looking out for me, and was just able to survive and push him back. So that sets the Bloodseeker back a little bit. Have to see how this develops.
Just looking to get some rune denial here. We also have Laposa now left alone on this bottom lane up against this AA. He does have to be pretty careful up against the Bat Rider. Level of stack just 3 or 4, and AA just doesn't have any way of protecting himself. Laposa doesn't have any backup coming in, and we have Phase Boots on the Necrophos. He'll scurry in here as well. So I Hate Anime on top of the net worth chart right now. It's certainly very nice for him, and that counter dive up towards top lane is going to be very nice for the Taka side in general. But still, we have a slight net worth lead being built up here by the SG Esports side, and it's only a matter of time before Costa is going to be able to join the fray. Oh, speaking of joining the fray, Mirana's diving deep for Masha, is going to fail to get the kill. ADR going in way too far for that kill. Is going to get punished.
Jumped in, had the point blank arrow and the Starfall, but just a lot of support, and that point blank arrow, you know, doesn't really keep you locked down for very long. Invoker is able to rally enough heals afterwards, and we'll see if SG can get the kill on 444 down here as the Bounty Hunter jumping on him. Dual Breath coming out. There's Ice Path as well, and looks like 444 going to burn down.
There's 4 stacks of Napalm on the Necrophos. He does have the stick right now.
Nice.
With the lasso, I don't think he's going to be able to get any kills here to get more regen. No. Dio's going to grab that kill, and then level 4 on the Bounty Hunter. They do pick off I Hate Anime. And with the Mirana rotation in, Ring of Aquila turned on, plus Liquid Fire level 2, some pretty decent damage into this tower. They have to make sure to go back to their other lanes with the other heroes, and the Posta will handle mid. Top lane's being handled by Costa still, up against that Doom, but that's a big pick-off. Killing off the Necrophos under any circumstance is great, and getting AA as a bonus on top of that while losing nothing. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty nice exchange for SGE, especially if they do get this tower, which they will. Liquid Fire level 2. Really, really potent ability.
Yeah, doing some work for sure. And especially just with the Legion Commander not going so well. The death and middle is sort of worrying for a second there for ADR.
He's bleeding, he's slowed, he has PTT here. There is a Jakiro to arrive, throws out some fire, throws out some ice on the Invoker. But the Nyx Assassin just being in the area represents a little bit too much threat there from SGE. They did not have their Mirana to jump in on that. You could bet they would have went in if they did. Mirana instead just continuously shoving out this bottom wave is going to be aggressed upon slightly, but there's not really much that they have in order to catch out that Mirana, and that's just a little bit of that weakness that I was talking about earlier, where Taka don't really have that way of initiating outside the Nyx and the Vendetta. Theo, he's going to see a couple of the extra heroes rotate in. Shadowburn, pings are out, so they do see that Theo was here.
Yeah. They threw out that macro prior to clear the wave mid too, just to try to get a little bit more pressure there. Maybe flush the Invoker out, but just nothing was going to happen there. And Theo's just doing a fine job of darting around behind enemy lines, getting that deep vision. So see this Necro just following.
There has been perhaps a little bit of a disappointing game so far for Costa. Rotated around to the mid lane, got nothing with that Rupture, used Rupture earlier on top lane on the Doom, got nothing from that as well. Now his tower is going to be denied up on top lane. If they Rupture this Doom, he doesn't have the ice armor anymore, so maybe? Oh no, he actually still does, it just doesn't have an icon. Thank you, Valve. He needs a TP out, there's Ice Path for that. They'll Doom with the Bloodseeker and try to race. Bloodseeker, get in there, you coward. I think they could have raced for that, but instead Doom is going to just shrug it off and now just chop down the dragon. Sunstrike will get the kill. He's going to survive, Bloodseeker. Right? Yeah, he's fine, he's fine. But Doom just absorbing 2 Ruptures now is just wrecking everyone who comes to challenge him on the top lane. Net worth-wise, he's not doing great, but he's brick-walling all of these SGE heroes.
And now it's PTT's turn to have a little disconnect from the game. Hopefully this one doesn't last too long. Our pauses have gone on just a few minutes, but we should be back into this pretty shortly. And the net worth and the experience just a little bit in favor of Taka. 3,000 gold lead and more like 2,500 or less for the experience. So things really close when it comes to their position 5 support. 444, just a little bit more experience. The Ancient Apparition ult, always a great skill to have, but then again, so is track. So once Theo gets that track, you can definitely envision a lot of gold coming SG's way because of that.
It looks like they actually gave the tome over to the Jakiro on the SG side. So yeah, Jakiro with the higher level gonna be quite nice with those arcane boots, but it's clearly not enough damage to challenge a Doom. And deciding to go for that instead of a track may signal maybe perhaps SGE looking to switch things up just a little bit as far as their planned playstyle is concerned. Like those 2 Ruptures on the Doom just with a couple heroes, that was not really advisable. If they rotate anyone into that top lane, even a Bounty Hunter, I feel like they could have gotten that kill just with an extra Shuriken. Obviously Mirana gets that kill, Batrider gets that kill pretty easily with the lasso and the bleed. But SGE are looking like they're trying to be a little bit too greedy, buying space with only a handful of heroes. Once the Batrider does get his Blink Dagger, then they'll be ready to make some larger scale moves as a team, but that's still a little bit of a ways away. And Taka, they are with this Nyx Assassin with Vendetta, so he is ready to start playing his game. Of course, if you Vendetta someone, if you impale them, you're going to Sunstrike them as well, which should be a kill most of the time.
And we do have the Hand of Midas is out for Masha, so there's going to be a little bit of gap in time now while building up to the Ag Scepter. We're not really getting any other large items. Team Taka just basically playing with the skills that their heroes have. They don't have any crazy items that are really going to swing some fights. Sort of the same for SG. We're just about to start to head towards that territory where Blink Dagger is getting picked up, as well as just more fighting options for these characters.
Well, there is the Veil and the Necrophos. That can do quite a bit of damage from him only, though. That's like really the issue with Veil, at least in this game, is that a lot of the burst damage is coming out from Invoker, from the Sunstrike. That's pure. And, Doom, he's got the Doom, which is great, but it's also pure. I guess Scorched Earth is going to be amplified as well. And you're not looking for a lot of magic resistance value when you're picking up that Veil of Discord, since even if it's just personal, you're fine. But for right now, it still will be enough to kill off these heroes. I mean, SG, they're bounty hunters, really weak health-wise. Everyone else, 1,000 HP, sounds like a lot, but you can really grind through that very, very quickly if you just cold snap someone, if you death pulse them once. Suddenly they're at half HP with right clicks and you can sight them. It's not that hard to find those kills once you are actually ready as the Necrophos. You have the mana and the cooldowns and whatnot. So it is going to be an SGE with a slight lead here, but unless they change their playstyle or unless they get this Blink Dagger on bat, it doesn't seem like they're really in control of this game.
Yeah. It's still definitely very open-ended, and Taka are in a great position right now. How the game develops into the end game, and how Mirana and Bloodseeker are able to consistently fight here are going to be kind of the most important things to keep an eye on.
The Bounty Hunter's like really deep in. This is the type of position you see Bounty Hunters in if you're looking for courier snipes, and looks like he was actually not too far away from seeing it, but level 4 Bounty Hunter needs to hit the courier, I think, 3 times to get the kill. That's just not going to be enough. So yeah, Bounty Hunter is kind of a non-factor in this game. We've seen Theo just destroy some of the previous games for SG Esports, and this time is just a little bit of a slower one. We have seen Theo just go off certain times as Bounty Hunter, but not in this game. So he does need to try and survive an engagement, try to like witness an invoker kill or something along those lines, just to get a huge pot of experience for him. But no real opportunities for that as of yet.
Yeah.
Gotta love the SA pause.
Yeah. Yeah, PTT did connect, but now is actually DECing again, and talking about the lag in Portuguese here. But did say that we'll be back shortly, I hope.
Well, there's like some pause limit time. And these games, I've been casting SA games from these qualifiers for like, I think like a week straight or something like that. So many pauses. And every other region, like, no pauses. If there is a pause, like, immediately they'll say like, sorry, this happened and we have to fix this. But SA, it's like, I mean, at least this time they're like, oh, you know, lag or whatever, disconnect immediately.
Yeah.
It's just like pause, and everyone's just like, okay, good, pause, let's just sit here then.
Just wait.
And I mean, yeah, sure, we want to see the players play at their max, but you know what? There's also like 6 or 7 casters here that just gotta sit through this, man. Like, yeah, I'm complaining for myself, and I'm also complaining for those guys. This is the worst, sitting here with nothing happening.
Gotta think of the fans. Think of the children.
And no one in Twitch chat wants to watch this either.
No, not really. PTT has reconnected, and Theo from SG says, "Go, please." So hopefully we will be ready this time. It looks like we are unpausing.
You can tell he's a little bit impatient because of that please. Usually it's just go, we're ready, but it's like, no, please start this game, please let me play.
Is under attack.
Yeah,
he's gonna slip away either way, and just try to head up towards that top lane. It's free for right now. Batrider may snag a little bit of time there, although it looks like with these stacks cleared, he'll be most of the way towards his blink. He's actually circling around back towards mid. I really want to see Theo just go to a lane that's empty, just camping it for a couple minutes and get that level 6.
Yeah. He could
I guess he's doing that
sure.
mid,
He's providing really good intel to his team, at least, you know, able to see what's going on, and that Team Taka are taking this slow and passive, so that's given SG plenty of space to work with here.
Oh, courier. Get that one. Is there dust? Nice. He's gonna try to TP out. I think that's not gonna work. He probably was just gonna freeze just from the cold feet. It would have been actually enough to TP out, but gives his life for the courier. Gonna be a lot of gold, and is gonna give him actually just enough experience to push that level 5 mark. So certainly not bad, considering top lane was occupied by Leposa. It does have the blink dagger now. Bottom lane is being pushed by a solo Jakiro of all heroes. But you know, when you're a low-level bounty hunter like that, yeah, you're gunning for that level 6, but you're also just kind of expendable. So you're gonna spend the bounty hunter in that fashion and look for a invis gank on bottom, where it seems like I Hate Anime is going to see this one coming. I think they may have seen over in the mid lane that Moonlight Shadow, so he is super defensively positioned. You cannot kill him right now, but they can kill someone else. Nyx Assassin is going to see a handful of heroes. There is no true sight here. Now the Vendetta onto the Jakiro. Sunstrike as well. Should straight get the kill. They'll lose the Ancient Apparition, though, as the Rupture does go out. I heard the Rupture. Not really sure on who this Necrophos actually is sitting here bleeding. And in the Firefly will survive. The heals just enough from the stick and the Death Pulse. It's going to be a 1-for-1, but a lot of ultimates used there from SGE.
And Theo does finally have track, so that'll be nice. That we'll be able to kind of use that to keep tabs on people like Nick, so that he doesn't throw it out on him quite yet to reveal himself. Has used it on Masha, though that's about to expire. And PTT looking mid is going to get the Impale on Mirana, but just enough to kind of push her away from the tower, even though she's got that double damage rune.
Kosa's going to have to wait another 50 seconds until he has another lasso. And Mirana's getting BKB first. That is a really good item to have in this game, for sure. Scythe immediately with the Sunstrike, almost enough to get the other will be. Whew. Now, there are things you just don't expect in Dota. A Necrophos walking up to you while you're at full HP and scything you is definitely one of them. But the follow-up was there with the Rock and the Sunstrike, so ADR sniped to all hell. Now Shadowburn, as I said, gone for that tanky build with the drums. Phase Boots is difficult to dislodge. They'll throw a Macropyre, they'll throw an Ice Path, a little bit of damage here and there, but PTT coming in from behind now is going to set up onto the Bat Rider. He'll fly over, and he should be just fine from that Doom, but that will, of course, leave this Jakiro alone. Be chopped down by Shadowburn. Same time, Theo is continuously throwing out those tracks. Shuriken will cancel the TP and will get them their first track kill of the game. For SG Esports, that is actually a great exchange. Yeah. Losing the Jakiro for Doom is already worth it, but track gold on top, yes please.
Yeah, they'll take that, no problem there. Using the Scythe to initiate the fight is certainly a great way to lock him down. And he'll have it back up again in 33 seconds, but just getting the one kill, certainly would have liked to get more in the follow-up of that.
He is going to get hit with the lasso. Firefly is there, he'll drag him right back into some stars. Super easy track kill there for Theo, as he already has 2. Seems like, oh my god, get track immediately, throw out a couple, and yeah, lose your tier 1 tower. That wasn't denied, I don't believe. Yeah, it should have just been Dire taking down the, no wait, Dire took down a tower. Where did Dire take down a tower? I don't know, but either way, they do take down a tower in the mid lane, but overall a really great trade for the SG Esports side, and as they do take down these towers, more opportunities for the Spat Rider to get going. And Mirana, okay, this is not a BKB first, this is a Dragonlance first. Looks like it was on the Courier when I checked last. Okay. Is going to actually be able to dish quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, that's good. Definitely needs some fight before just going for survivability. The BKB, though, definitely gives you plenty of opportunities to help in a team fight against some of the skills that Taka's going to throw at you.
Nyx Assassin burning through the team's clock by quite a bit. And Nyx Assassin used to be a hero that you could just lag with and it doesn't really matter. But since they changed the Impale to not be able to point-click target and land every single time, much more difficult to actually play this hero with lag. So, he does get my condolences and whatnot, but, you should also try to get good internet. I do appreciate a good internet connection.
Yeah, I mean, well, we are at the point where, your gear and what you are using to play video games with does make a difference. And it's not just keyboard, mouse, internet connection, and computer hardware. Pretty big deal. So obviously would be unfortunate to see these guys have to suffer because their gear is not up to snuff, but that is the reality of the situation here, where technical problems are starting to maybe hinder Team Taka's chances here. Now that they battled that one game back and are doing quite solid in this game, it certainly would be unfortunate to see that happen. PTT has reconnected though, so I don't think we're in that sort of scenario. I'm sure they'd rather just play with a packet loss than play with 4 players.
Yeah, but you could tell the admin is keeping an eye on this situation, and from what I gather, there's 10 minutes of pause time for Taka in total. And it's at least halfway up by now. So if the admin is at all competent at enforcing the rules, I like Team Taka's chances here in this game, but I don't really like them 4v5. Seems like a hard game, 4v5.
Yeah, for sure. And looks like he's going to try this one more time, saying that he's getting 80,000 ping or something. I don't know. So Going to try it one more time. Yeah, as we've mentioned, we have just a few more minutes of pause time left here. In some circumstances, you know, the other team can utilize their 10 minutes of pause time to help out, but most tournaments, and I'm sure in this one, the ESL admin will just resume the game when the 5 minutes are up and leave it up to SG if they want to use their time. But there's no kind of awkward sitting there being like, you can keep the pause going if you want. You know, those sort of choices. Yeah, those sort of choices should be removed from the players.
I mean, it
mind,
shouldn't.
You know, they don't.
It's not that it should be removed from the players. It's that they don't have that choice. Like in the rulebook, that is not a choice. But like weak-willed admins have sometimes given players that option, and it's like, come on, bro. If you're gonna have a rulebook, if you're gonna have a huge doc with rules and timings and penalties and the amount of pause duration, and you're actually gonna enforce it, you gotta enforce it all the way. You can't half-ass it.
Yeah, exactly. The admin needs to enforce it, and you can't put this sort of obligation on the other team of like, well, I am going to be a bad cop unless the other team wants to be nice. Like, do you guys want to be nice? And, you know, you
do
can't.
You want to press charges?
Yeah, you know, and that puts you in an awkward situation. The Street Fighter community has come to the same stance when it comes to controllers unplugging. Like, that's the worst thing ever. Your controller unplugs, and now they're like, you just have to forfeit the round. And before, it would kind of be like, well, the other guy can let you play it out if you want, but it's just so many circumstances where that guy ends up looking like a bad person because he's like, no, I want to take the free round.
Fighting games, we real esports now. Got rules, got DQs.
For sure, dog. Yeah, for sure. And it's happened in some unfortunate situations, you know, and this would be an unfortunate situation if Team Taka have to resume while one of their players is either DC'd or has terrible connection. But, you know, you do have to come prepared. And it is unfortunate if some of these things happen outside of your circumstances, but you have to try to prepare for those circumstances as much as you can. Asking a little bit of questions, here from each other in Portuguese, probably on the sort of topic that we were talking about.
Yeah, I think they're asking for a little bit of SG's pause duration. That is a thumbs up, it looks like. What a good guy, this Bardinho. I mean, they're playing one game away from just winning this whole thing, having that slot at ESL One, and that's not bad. That's not bad. Going to Hamburg is quite nice. And hey, when you're actually at the LAN, you don't have to worry about issues like this because it's going to be affecting everyone. So he's going to come back just in the nick of time. ESL Shady dropping the law, and Nick's Assassin, he's back. He may have some ping, but it's better than having no fifth player.
Yeah.
Alright, we're back, but unfortunately for Taka, they just have to cross their fingers and hope that no natural disaster strikes and they lose internet on like 3 of their players, because if they do, they just game over. One bad slip of the technical end of things, and SG Esports are just in. Yeah,
it would be tough to battle this out 4v5, especially just pro level Dota. Every once in a while you get people pulling off ridiculous things in a hub scenario, but just at this level of play, there's not enough wiggle room to allow that sort of stuff to happen most of the time.
Rotations onto I Hate Anime. TP coming in straight in. He will be ruptured, and that's going to be a bump into an arrow! Whew. I'm not really sure if the arrow would have landed otherwise. They were throwing in a lot of spells that, you know, look like it's gonna stun, but they don't actually stun. But that small, like 100 or like 50 range of the flame break, that may have just made the difference. They kill off the Necrophos. That was a track kill as well as the fact that Bardinho was left on the bottom lane, and with the liquid fire, he was able to take down that one. Taka, they just lose a hell of a lot in just that one exchange, and the worst part of it is that Batrider did not use Lasso, so that's going to be up in another 5 seconds.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be feeling the pressure here. Certainly, psychologically, you don't want to be put on that back foot of just like feeling like you have some sort of disadvantage going against you, and then not really able to sort it out. Matcha has picked up the Ag Scepter being flown out to him, so that's going to give the Invoker a little bit more time to, or just fighting capability. Oh, PTT just barely sneaks in, gets that Vendetta, gets that Bounty Rune, dodges the arrow.
Matcha will show up in the mid lane, showing off that Aghanim Scepter, throws out a Tornado. But yeah, it is going to be Batrider, I would assume, looking to make that next play. And there is a Forge Spirit in the area. There's an invisible Batrider in the area, plus Batrider is also spotted by this Forge Spirit, so no surprises here. But it is going to be that constant threat as Taka, specifically Nyx Assassin, the lagging Nyx Assassin, they have to be on the ball with the counter initiation should the lasso land on someone. Tornado from the Invoker is also a pretty decent way at making sure your allies are kept safe, since the Batrider does not have BKB, nor does he have a Force Staff. He's going to try to go for a double pull with the Flame Break. That's gonna work out perfectly, even though the creeps got bumped out and then went back in. But still, racking up the dough, should be pretty close to his BKB, and then initiation is going to be entirely safe.
Yeah, that'll be a nice chunk of cash coming his way. Getting that BKB, a huge help. And SG just trying to choke out Taka right now, keeping the pressure up around the map.
Oh, they smoked at the exact same time as Bounty Hunter threw out a track.
No,
so, I mean, I don't know about you, but it seems pretty obvious from where I'm sitting that the plans from Team Taka are going to be looking for this aggressive play. And it would have been at a perfect time, too, since Costa would have been a very, very vulnerable position right around the corner from a Radiance. He's going to smoke up without having that item. I'm not sure if I like this from SGE. They definitely do have the edge in that Taka will be more likely to spread out after their own failed smoke. So they will be able to maybe catch someone out for free, and it looks like it may just be I Hate Anime. Better start loving it. He's going to get pulled right back into the Silent Circle, the Arrow, and the Star Storm. Oh my god, that was overkill. Now it's time to get out. Get out, get out, get out, and everyone will be fine. That's going to give him the Radiance? Just about.
Yeah, and kind of a sloppy Ice Blast from AA. I mean, not the longest cooldown, not too big of a deal, but if they were going to get any sort of counter fight there, they definitely needed to land that on top of a couple heroes. Losing this Necrophos and his continued death is definitely a pretty big setback. He's tied with AA for most on his team, and just does need to get some items. Get ready to throw down.
This item is going to be a Radiance. Would be a pretty decent item to have up against that Mirana, up against that Bloodseeker, and the fact that SGE, you could pretty quickly, again, grind them down with this Veil and that sparkly damage from the Radiance, if you actually do have it. But it's also a very, very expensive item to get for Necrophos. It just takes so long to farm that item in a position where I'm not really sure if he's going to have that much time to farm it. And the Doom, he's going in pretty deep. Does have a Blink Dagger. Is going to have that spotted out by Theo, and you could very easily cancel the Blink Dagger just with one simple Urn or Janata or everything. That's all good. Shadowburn is dead on top. Another track kill. It's still level 1 track, but man, Bounty Hunter is at least at like 5 right now, right? Something along those lines?
Yeah, it's been pretty healthy for him for sure. Ever since he got it, they've been picking up kills left and right with it. And, you know, Taka got off to a good start in this game. Certainly the track kills are going to help SG swing the momentum in their way. But even, you know, that money hasn't really come in yet. And it definitely seems like SG is starting to just find better pickoffs, better team fights, and better work around the map. And they're, yeah, trying to gank, and it's just Nyx alone here. He's probably going to get into some trouble for that whole attempt.
Man, Tornado is really good with the Sunstrike. Kills off Bardino. The Arrow is going to miss Masha as well. Only one star set lands. Masha still has to deal with Batrider overhead. Will go down as Rupture goes off onto the Nyx Assassin. One more tap is going to get the kill, although the Doom will go out onto the Bloodseeker. He's already done his job. The Batrider as well. It'll be a 3 for 2. That Invoker combo was absolutely backbreaking versus those two heroes that stunned themselves up against that Nyx Assassin Spike Carapace. But 3 for 2. It is going to be slightly beneficial here for Team Taka gold-wise. But they also just don't have Doom, and that cooldown is so long, and it never really gets shorter.
Yeah, interesting exchange there. The number-wise, that looks better for Taka, but still kind of have to be dubious about, you know, where the kills went, where the money went. It went to Mirana, it went to Bloodseeker, and those are the ones that they're having trouble dealing with.
Costa is going to jump for that BKB. BKB was used there on the Batrider, and PTT is going to wander right over a sentry ward. And it seems like that movement, you should realize that, hey, I was spotted. But he may still think that this is safe if he hasn't quite got that read. It's in the macro pyre and spike character to set up something, but
yeah,
not going to happen. There is no Batrider just yet. He'll respawn with Lasso. So that should be the timing at which SG Esports look to make their next play. Oh, they will see a Nyx Assassin. This time does land that Impale combo with the Ice Blast onto Theo. No! He scoots over the hill, dodges the Ice Blast, dodges the Tornado, and dodges the Sunstrike. Now the arrow turnaround. Oh, the Nyx Assassin walks right into it. He is going to return the stun duration onto the Mirana somewhat, but he's still in a really bad position to actually survive, and they do jump in really deep, looking for the Invoker. He's bleeding, he's stuck in the Silent Circle, and he's going to get bumped out closer to the Bloodseeker, making it a twofer for the SG Esports side. Shadowburn is doing what he can, but what he can do is not that much because the Doom does not have his namesake ultimate. So he's just got to settle for a little bit of burn damage from that Scorched Earth. That's 2 kills for SG Esports, and my, that target selection was impeccable. The arrow is going deep. That was almost going to land. Not quite. SG Esports, though, they redeemed that last fight and then some.
Yeah, it was a great fight there. I also really liked how Laposte grabbed the Invoker right after he triggered Shrine. Kind of one of those classic. He's like, oh, I got a Shrine right here. I'll just slide underneath it and everything will go great. And they just dragged him away from it, and the Shrine was blasted, so the team couldn't really go back over there to finish off the fight.
I mean, it's the fact that he grabs him away from the Shrine is one thing, but oh, Bounty Hunter is gonna get baited to a kill. No, he's fine. Wow. Shadowburn is charging in. Blink forward will get the kill with the Scorched Earth. They are gonna dust him up, and they see him. That was such a quick sight there from I Hate Anime. My god, but Shadowburn's gonna get bled out. And Starstorm, no, it's the Bloodright that'll get the kill. Making it ultimately not a terrible trade here for the SG Esports side. And a Lasso is casted onto the Nyx Assassin, bringing him right back in. Chain Stun with the Ice Path, and you're dead too. Yeah, that was even worse. But I was gonna say, like, for Laposte, he had the BKB up. He had every single hero in sights. But he took his damn time. He waited a very long time with that BKB to grab that Invoker. He knew what hero to go for, and he took the time to go for it. I mean, at this point now, they get even more kills, so that other fight was kind of ancient history at this point. But still, it's going to be 2 kills, including that Assassin, which means, hey, they can't actually crash this fight. They'll Ice Blast it, but it won't land on Costa. ADR is going to get himself a double life with this Lincoln Sphere instead of that BKB. Mirana's going to be really damn difficult to deal with, not to mention the Bloodseeker also getting a BKB of his own.
Yeah, this is starting to get real tough for Taka. We mentioned a little bit about the veil that Necrophos has and how that's kind of helpful but not fully helpful. And just looking around at their team, though, it's tough to envision items that would come in for their not main characters that will really swing the fight. You know, Ancient Apparition, Nyx Assassin, and even Doom. It's hard to think of items that they could get that would turn them into winning these fights. You know, Doom would have to get several items. Another fight break.
Is gonna get cheesed out. No, they missed the scythe.
Oh, wow.
What the hell? How do you miss the scythe? I Hate Anime now can take a lot of damage from the Batrider, and even if they do land the scythe, it was an Aegis anyway. She's gonna respawn, and oh man, Bloodseeker is moving really, really quick. Shadowburn is gonna try to take down ADR. Not a chance in hell. PTT on his way out is tracked up. Ice Path will miss, but Liquid Fire doesn't miss, and that's gonna kill off a third. That was...
Yeah.
I mean, I like the attempt. Like, you're, again, only real option is to set up with the Nyx Assassin. Execution had a little bit to be desired, though, and the Mirana will lose her Aegis, but for 3 kills and for probably a tier 2 tower, I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just really tough for Taka to get this all lined up together. They didn't even really get anything out of the trade, but the last couple fights have all just been trades that aren't really working out for Taka, you know. And you just can't keep doing that. Their lead is getting further and further. The lead is getting further and further away from them. SG just building up more items, more strength, and their characters like Batrider and Jakiro are just getting more dangerous, while Taka is just getting more and more ineffective.
Rules coming up. I want to say the vast majority of the recent pickoffs have been track kills. Still only level 1 track. So it could have very easily been level 2 at this stage. And Theo, hey, He's going to grab level 12, so now he does have that level 2 track. PTT knows that there's a bounty hunter here. He doesn't really want to do anything about that. Can't do anything about that in the Vendetta form. No true sight. So now Theo's going to have that level 2 track to throw out. Even more gold going towards the SG Sports side. And already, this bounty hunter, just with the amount of tracks that he's gotten, of course, surviving for a good majority of these fights, is going to be looking towards a pipe. And at that point, I mean, nice Veil, nice Radiance to the Necrophos. He's going to get brick-walled by this bounty hunter. Once that barrier comes up, SG Esports are going to be damn near unkillable to magic damage, and no one's really doing physical damage, so I don't really know how they deal with that pipe. Just try to burst the bounty, I suppose.
Yeah, you got 4 stops all around for SG as well. The only person that doesn't have one is Bloodseeker. Mirana doesn't as well, but has Leap, so just kind of mentioning that all the mobility that they have here.
Pulled into an ice path. They don't have the final killing blow. It's a little bit slow incoming, so he will be able to get the Ghost Shroud out. PTT, though, is in the Silent Circle and Ruptured. He's dead to the Blood Right. Now Master treats as the Doom was pulled out onto the Bloodseeker. He'll be just fine. Although SG, do they really want to continue this? There's a Sentry Ward here, and Theo will know about it, so it looks like that should just about be it. Not really the kill that they were going for. The backup of the Mirana or the Bloodseeker were a little bit too far away, but still, it's going to be a kill, and it's going to be Doom pulled out. That is the longest cooldown on the map right now. It will be forever, really, so they can very easily play around that with another lasso in 15 seconds.
Yeah, just another great fight from SG Esports. They just have a lot of options here.
Ooh. Costa, he's going to have to pop a BK Beach to survive. That's another big cooldown there, and he will TP out. Can Taka do anything here? They can't. They just don't have the heroes to start fights.
Yeah, going to have to back up and rotate. Bounty Hunter is going to snag this haste rune. Masha just peeks up there to take a peek whether the rune is there or not, but doesn't see anything. And SG kind of split up, 3 towards the top of the map and 2 in the bottom. Theo's going to run through here with the haste rune. It is spotted out, but hasted up. I don't think they'll be able to catch him. He's about to run out, but he's got plenty of room to work with here.
There's no true sight here on Shadowburn. If Theo just stops moving, then Shadowburn will just walk right by. Hit the brakes and it'll fly right by. And over in the bottom lane, they are going to find Nyx Assassin. He is going to get Spike Carapace out, but it's not going to save him. The boss is actually going to grab that kill. I Hate Anime will leave through TP. Nyx Assassin again sniped, and I mean, yeah, usually at this point in the game, you're like, oh, you know, you gotta kill the Necrophos, you gotta kill the Invoker. But taking out the Nyx Assassin means that you have absolute free reign of the map. Wherever you want to go, you can go. So this target selection of SGE has been very, very careful, very deliberate, and I think just strictly the right targets have been selected.
Yeah, Theo doing a great job of just kind of pulling Taka around. Really kind of harassing and annoying and providing great information to his teammates so that they can get those pickoffs that they're looking for. He has been spotted with this Observer Sentry Ward combo by mid lane.
Nyx Assassin pushing out. There is now a Sentry on the deck. He's going to hold his Impale, though, against that Force Staff, and now Theo at this point is a little bit too far away. Sentry is up. Bardinho is spotted. Impale is going to be cast just at the nick of time. That'll set up for a pretty easy Jakiro kill. Force Staff out, not going to do it. But over in the meantime, in the mid lane, they go ahead and make it a 1-for-1 trade. Look at that combo. Rupture and Lasso. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, that's brutal. Bleeding and on fire at the same time.
It's a 1-for-1 trade. AA is worth essentially nothing, though, to the SG Esports side. That was no track, but Masha is worth just a little bit here. Here comes the Mirana, although the Bounty Hunter is going to take way too much damage. It should be ADR to seal the deal here. A couple more right clicks, arrows, 2 more from a distance will get the kill. And now even onto Shadowburn. He's going to start laying in those right clicks, although the arrow will be tanked by the creep wave. ADR now jumped by the Nyx Assassin. Does have a Lincoln Sphere, but Shadowburn's right on top. Will leap out Mirana, but that's still not going to save her. Ice Blast was also coming in just in case, so SG Esports getting perhaps a little bit too ahead of themselves right now. Looking for kills kind of greedily around the map without the proper backup.
Yeah, they definitely are going to have to be careful of that, of not overextending themselves, not giving Taka easy fights. Definitely the initiation of SG has gone really well, just that combo. we just saw with Lasso and Rupture being really, really disruptive. But they've also followed up with Lasso, with Ice Wall. They have the Arrow as well. And Taka, they just really have not showcased their team fight. They haven't had good Ice Blast combos following up a Nyx. It's really more just like Sunstrike following up a Nyx Impale. It's like the solo pickoff team fight coordination. But when it's a big fight, a 5v5 fight, they can't deal with the tools that SG have right now.
It's just the nature of these type of heroes for Taka. Again, Nyx Assassin is always going to be a little bit of a mystery as to whether or not he's going to be able to perform because of how finicky Impale is as a spell. You look at Batrider in comparison, it's like, well, are you going to miss the lasso? Maybe, because we saw a miss Scythe earlier, so it's not impossible, but odds are if you're jumping in on someone, you're not going to miss the lasso unless they have a Manta Style or a Lincoln Sphere. Maybe a quick Yule Scepter from Necrophos. Self-Yules can make that miss a little while, but for the most part, every single initiation from SG is going to work whenever they cast it, whereas the same cannot be said for Taka. So just the ease of execution working out decently well for SG Esports right now, although they are still just waiting for a target. Raposa, Invis Rune, he's going to scout out and see a couple of sentries here and there, not to be not too surprised about that. They're just waiting for Roche. If they can get a pick off beforehand, great. Otherwise, I'm still pretty sure they're going to be happy just going in for that Roshan. They're going to actually Moonlight Shadow up and head top lane, maybe?
Dire's top tower
No one
is
there.
under attack.
Yeah, Invoker Sunstruck the Roche pit, but not up yet. Should be up pretty soon. We'll see Dire using a scan in their own jungle to see if they can find somebody. It is just Masha up in the trees. And wow, that was really close. Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked. So he still has that cooldown, but the cooldown isn't even that large.
Yeah.
So that would have been an absolute disaster. Losing your Invoker means that they immediately go into Roche, which SG are going to find out about very soon. I assume just a napalm and someone's going to scout it out, or they're just going to take down all the vision first. Over in the bottom end of things, Bloodseeker is doomed up. Sunstruck as well. Impale is not going to work, but the Scythe sure as hell will. And also Bardinho is not in a good spot right now. Yule Scepter from the Necrophos. Invoker's going to arrive with a Deafening Blast, and a couple right clicks. EMP will kill off the Jakiro. SG Esports lose the Bloodseeker with the Doom initiation. Can they do anything about this? The Bloodseeker? I thought it just said he had buyback. Yeah, he does have buyback.
He just got it,
something and then like resold it or something along those lines. But so the tier 2 tower is going to fall, and now for Taka, pretty big opportunity to make a play happen, although they are not working with all their assets. I don't know how they start a fight in the enemy base without a Scythe. Is it agged? No, it's not agged. It's still down. So is the Doom. They're just going to jump in with this Invoker. Ice Blast is coming in. ADR has no mana, actually.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he's still going to be able to get out of there, though. A little bit of chip damage onto this tier 3. Bloodseeker is going to be forced to buy out. Now Laposa up in the sky looking for a straggler. There are going to be no stragglers that are going to be valuable. They'll find an AA perhaps. No one's teleporting in towards the shrine. AA is still out of range because of nighttime. They can't find anyone. They get out clean.
Yeah, that was a good fight for him. I mean, just the whole exchange there, the first initial fight by that tier 2, and then being able to push up tier 3 and then just get away, worked out great for him. They got a solid chunk of damage on there as well, where 3/4 of the health of that tower are dead. And Necro can really just, you know, flip things around, especially with Invokers, Forge Spirits. They can get another good team fight. They can just push really aggressively, and they might possibly get the first lane of racks in this game, but they will have to have another solid, you know, interaction, a solid initiation, and the ensuing team fight after that.
Maybe smoke up running straight into a Batrider is the way you want to initiate, because Laposa does have the gem. Has a BKB, but is certainly not completely immune. Doom's ultimate, still 20 seconds off until they have that. And smokes will kind of pass right by each other. There's only an AA remotely in the area. SG Esports, they can still just walk in and take this tier 2, and actually AA is now spotted, so if they want to kill him, they can. It looks like they want to kill him.
Yeah, Arrow's gonna come in. He is completely
to the side though.
Up top though.
Yeah, Bounty Hunter, Force Staff out is not gonna save him. He's not gonna have track for this fight. They do Rupture Shadowburn though, and the damage is gonna commence. BKB is already up on the Bloodseeker, though he is doomed. He doesn't really care. He can still continue this fight if there was a fight to be had. There's not. No, there is actually. PTT is off in the middle of nowhere. Ice Path will lock him in, and they will get the kill here with the Star Storm and the right clicks. 3 for 1 so far, and Doom again. His ultimate takes so long to come back up. Oh my, this Roshan should be pretty free, although there is an Ice Blast to worry about, and Bloodseeker isn't quite healthy yet, so maybe they'll have to wait for a little while longer.
Yeah, it looks like they will leave it. They definitely have a pretty good opportunity here to put some pressure on SG. They see that the Ice Blast went in towards Roche, so maybe they'll say, okay, well, he just checked. Not going to be able to again, but actually now they're curious about Masha, who's really in trouble here.
Why?
Lhasa, yeah.
Dead. You can't afford to check out Roche by yourself as Invoker. I think the plan was to walk in and start spamming Tornado, but that didn't work. Uh-oh.
No, it did not. Yeah, and that's just another big cooldown as well, because, you know, the Doom and the Nyx just coming back up. If the Invoker was up, and you can see a full fight here. Now it's just going to be this Frost Blast coming in way too late, and just not really doing anything. They also find another kill here on PTT as he gets lassoed. Ice Path, this whole combo. Arrow whiffs, but doesn't even matter.
I was going to make a point in that Taka have either been dodging this Batrider really well, or SG Esports have been really struggling to find Batrider's lasso initiations, and that's what really set them up for this bottom lane push, which is now actually going to kill off that tier 3 tower. But I don't really think that's a point that can be made anymore, because Leposa now just 2 times, 2 cooldowns, like almost instantly off of one another, gets 2 kills. And now with the Aegis and Cheese, I mean, they may lose their shrines, but it's going to be pretty darn easy, I would say, for SG Esports to continue this pace of game, this pick-off style, and keep Taka just locked up in their base.
Yeah, and if they can just keep them away from the money, keep them isolated, they'll just be able to work in and get some high ground, get some barracks. They are working on that Lincoln's up for Bloodseeker. And also Chrysalis for Mirana, so just even better team fight, even better survivability coming out for SG. They have a smoke here by Team Taka. We'll see what they can find. Smoke did get popped, so they figure the bounty hunter is around there somewhere.
We see the line is drawn from Brown. ADR and Costa will back off with one another. There is Cheese and Aegis between the 2 of these heroes, and a shrine, so I'm not really sure if they can do anything about that. That movement from Theo is going to blow the entire thing, and he will also just straight spot out the Invoker. Any help that's coming in, they're kind of rotating in, but it's going to be too slow to punish this Invoker's positioning. Either way, that smoke would have been a big opportunity for Taka to actually make some sort of play there. They do have the Doom, and this is the time to use it. It's such a long cooldown. You want it to be cooling down the entire game, not available to you, which is rotting there.
And Theo is kind of split through top lane, has kind of seen what's up. And the Necrophos is going to just TP back to base, so everybody contained in the base for Team Taka right now. SG knocking on the doorstep, posted up on mid, waiting to see what might happen here.
BTT is going to look at ADR. For sure bursting this Mirana. If you land an Ice Blast, you can cancel the Cheese, or he's just going to get jumped because there's a gem. And he's going to be able to actually survive for a very long time thanks to that Spike Carapace, but his backup isn't coming, so he's dead anyway. They can just camp out here, as he said, just hard contain, 40 seconds, every 40 seconds look for a kill, and maybe occasionally poke the tower with like a Mirana or with a Liquid Fire, but there really is no rush here for SG.
Yeah, plenty of time on the Aegis, just have to worry about that running out eventually, but not worried about it. Mirana has that level 5 talent with the split shot arrows. And looks like actually they might be able to find Necro here, who is a little bit out past the stairs on bottom lane. Ice Blast coming in, just going to hit Theo here, who's definitely in danger. The Scythe comes out on him as well, but they don't really care about that. They get the Necrophos. Necrophos going to buy back here. Nick's still down 10 seconds before he can come back in. They're going to get Shadow Burn on the Doom, taking him out. They've just lost the Jackie Row on top of the bounty. No big deal. They feel pretty comfortable, but then again, maybe one of those fights where they just got a lot done, but still can't necessarily take high ground afterwards.
Creeps are still pushing in. The buyback. Well, they're going to jump in on the Mirana, impale her, burn her mana, but she's not ice blasted. So she could cheese if she needs to. She'll just get force staffed out instead. Here comes the ice blast. Oh, almost. Wouldn't have even killed. But yeah, SG, they lose only their supports. They even just like trading their supports for a Doom cooldown. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world for SG esports. Like, you can see Leposa, I mentioned earlier, has a rough time on Batrider early stages. Like, you know, he'll die a handful of times, but once he gets his items, he is just going to mess you up. And speaking of, he's and now stuck in the ice wall. Never mind. He's going to mess up that one. I guess. He could have BKB and he still got the kill. If he was insane. If he was a god.
Yeah, I mean, pretty great plays by Invoker there just to secure himself, make sure that he wasn't going to get jumped by that lasso. They will have Doom respawning here. Still 60 seconds on his namesake skill, but at least they have their full numbers.
It's also worth noting that Bloodseeker had like a haste rune and a DD rune in that bottom lane fight, which is certainly very helpful when you're a Bloodseeker.
Yeah, nice combo.
Gonna get Mantis Style after the BKB Lincolns. A little bit of extra defensive power here from the Bloodseeker, and actually the Invoker taking the #1 spot in net worth is extremely impressive for Masha. But the way that this Invoker is still forced to play in such a way that he's looking to push out these waves very aggressively is going to consistently put him at risk. We can already see Leposa was ready for the Invoker. He's going to back off this time, but all this net worth being tied up into one hero is kind of a double-edged sword. He's going to be so powerful, but it's also going to be a huge hole in your lineup if he's going to get dropped.
And they're keeping the split pressure up, getting the wave through on bottom, trying to get in there to get a few shots at the tower.
Arrow and Nyx. I don't know if they notice. I don't know if they care. You know, Leposa doesn't have Firefly just yet. Never mind, he does. He does have another lasso. And they're just containing the hell out of Taka right now. It's only a matter of time before Leposa finds someone. Like, that, I feel like, is an inevitability.
Yeah, they got Nyx there. And threw out that spiked Carapace, so also could tell that they hit him. Mirana using that Dragon Lance to hit that tower.
Sees the Nyx, also sees the spiked Carapace. Gotta watch out. Arrow will connect onto the Invoker. Are they gonna go in on that? There is no Firefly, so it looks like this time they can't. Ice Blast coming in to clear out the illusions. Tower at 5 HP will be brought down. So now Shrines are available. But it looks like they have their eyes set on perhaps some fatter objectives in the racks. An ADR with Lincoln Sphere is just going to be spamming these arrows 24/7. And again, much like the Batrider lasso, it seems like landing an arrow is an inevitability unless Taka do this. Start a fight onto the Mirana first thing. Ice Blast, where is it? She is going to get doomed, and with the Scythe, will be not able to pop the cheese. Now it's only onto this Costa Bloodseeker to do all the damage. It doesn't seem like he has what it takes. So they're going to try to disengage instead. Right, Ice Path will hold them in place, letting the rest of SG just leave. Everyone should be fine here. And that's the ideal scenario here for Taka. But Mirana is dead for a very long time thanks to that scythe.
Yeah, that was a fantastic ice path from SG as they were retreating. That helped kind of cover their bases, make sure that they weren't going to lose anybody else here. The push in, you know, just a little disappointing to lose Mirana to the scythe as well. That's just really going to slow down your entire tempo. But you might be picking up Shadow Burn here, and they did get that tower. So, as you mentioned before, Shrine's available. Picking up the Doom. Now Masha is in here as well. Ancient Apparition. They're trying to follow up, get some more kills here. The Theo turns around, gets picked off from Invoker. They're still hunting. Costa up top. And Nyx in his face.
Turns off Radiance a split second too late, gets stunned. And well, they have full vision here, so they know who's chasing him. But he's going to pop the BKB, get into the woods. He'll be fine to TP out of there. Taka are still making some pretty decent plays here. Leposa, though, is not supposed to be in this area, even if he lassos someone. Cannot kill by himself. Needs backup. We'll have to wait for the Mirana to come back, but we can see Taka, they bust out of this contain. And the cooldown of the Doom ultimate is more or less going to line up with the cooldown of Mirana's respawn. So they'll have that again for perhaps the future. It is not easy to land that on Mirana. If she's in the front line, she's going to get Lotus by the Jakiro or Lincoln Sphere by any one of the 3 that's on the team. So
yeah,
if you can land it, great, but don't depend on it because it's not going to happen all that often.
And another Roche should be coming up in not too long. Something for the teams to be thinking about in a bit here. But right now, SG just trying to kind of regain their structure, their control that they had. They're trying to kill these shrines. They will kill the top shrine.
Bloodseeker finds another double damage rune somehow. Right now, they're just waiting for Batrider's Firefly to be up one more time. He is going to have that talent, so a lot more uptime on that ability, where he is just in the air and just searching for those kills. He still has that gem. Luposa has not been brought down in time recently. And he may have a target here in the Invoker. Oh, it's a little bit too far away for him to feel comfortable jumping. I mean, by that I mean his backup is a little bit too far away. But they do drive everyone back. They are going to be the targets of a smoke, though. Doom does have his ultimate. PTT, the Nyx Assassin, is going to have a lot of fire to walk through. Theo is going to be the first one to tank this, although Force Staff down to the low ground. Arrows will be thrown out. None will connect, though. They'll scythe up the Bounty Hunter. Not sure if that's worth it, because they still have to deal with ADR. They do get the Doom off the Bloodseeker. They kill him up, but immediately he's going to buy back. And the final lasso onto Shadowburn. They will get onto the Doom with the TP and buyback coming in from the Bloodseeker. It's going to be a lot of Radiant heroes going down. They may Sunstrike the Jakiro. Bardinho may or may not live. It honestly doesn't really matter. They need to go for heroes that matter a little bit more than that. Looks like the Invoker will slip away. You force the buyback on the Bloodseeker, but he will have the Aegis, so it's not really going to matter too much for him. SG Esports do get the upper hand in that engagement, if just slightly, since they do have now the ability to take down Rax.
Yeah, Masha playing really well, getting a lot of damage out with his spells, and they actually had a really strong impact in that fight around the Roche pit, but just losing players, and you know, you're just not going to be able to 1v5 with that Invoker. And then they had to buy back. That Bloodseeker died really surprisingly quick in that fight, but utilizing his buyback now has the Aegis, and also getting that second shrine is another little boost to the Dire side.
Somehow he finds another double damage rune. This one's not really going to do all that much except for kill the shrine, but this Bloodseeker seems to be like the desirable target for SG Esports. I mean, obviously they would like it if no one got doomed, if Lincoln Sphere actually worked to block that spell. But they'd rather keep the Mirana alive. She's the one who's actually doing the damage. She has the Daedalus. She has the attack speed. She has the range. She's actually opted for a Moon Shard over the Dragonlance upgrade into Hurricane Pike. Certainly interesting to see. She's either way approaching that 6-slot status. Invoker pretty much is at that 6-slot status right now. So the farm is going to be closing down for some of these heroes. But still, this is a really big, if not risky, timing from SG Esports. They have the Aegis, they have the cheese on someone. Where is the cheese? See, that's on the Mirana's backpack. She actually has 2 of them. Nice. They're once again going to get into position, start fishing with the arrows, start fishing with the Batrider, and look to make a lane of Rax in their advantage. It's really not going to change the tide of this game by too much. Ooh, they jump in. Not quite there. PTT now going to get snubbed on the Batrider with another Force Staff out. Will be dodged, and now, ADR is going to jump in and slay the Nyx. And we'll call that initiation, but for sure, Batrider did not use his lasso there. A minute down, arrows still will be thrown out. Careful there, guys. This is still so dangerous for Taka.
Yeah, and SG just going to use the Jakiro and some illusions to get some damage on high ground. Still haven't put much on there on the towers, but 40R now getting in there, and Custable also starting to get in and right click.
Blast onto everyone, but he's going to get lassoed as he tries to go for the cute plays. Immediately the Invoker is going to go down. Does have a buyback, but that, I mean, the Deafening Blast was sick. It landed on everyone except for Luposa. He had the BKB up in time, and the Doom. Well, that wasn't a Doom, that was a Force Staff. I thought he ran into the Lincoln Sphere. That would have been an absolute disaster, like a game misplay.
They're already having some troubles here for sure. Sort of surprised that Invoker didn't buy back for that. The push is going to slow down a little bit as Jakiro, played by Bardinho, jumps back to deal with the creeps that are coming in top lane.
Bloodseeker is had to buy back, but still is up to gonna have 6k gold. ish. There we go. It looks like he's going to think about going for an Octarine. Very interesting kind of alchemisty build here from the Bloodseeker. Not really interested in actually hitting things for damage as much as just outlasting and kind of out-sustaining the opposition. From the bottom lane, though, something's going on here. I have completely whiffed that one, guys. They'll take down 2, including the Necrophos. Buyback is 1,000 gold off. I don't know what he bought, but I can tell you one thing. It was not worth it, whatever he did buy. Yeah. And now it's going to be looking for 2 lanes of racks. Ice Blast Point Blank will hit onto illusions only. Jakiro's not even here with Liquid Fire, but they don't give a damn. They're going to go in anyway. The Necrophos, the Invoker, both still dead. In the meantime, they're still fishing with the arrows. The Batrider is only 10 seconds away from having another lasso. And it looks like Taka might be on their last legs here. They're looking for Shadowburn, won't quite find the Doom. But they will drive everyone back, letting Mirana and Costas go to work. And they force out the early BKB on the Doom. He's going to awkwardly Shivas, but they pull back the Invoker. He's in a lot of trouble. He does have a buyback still, but he's going to have to use it almost immediately here. Actually, no, he doesn't have buyback. He's 1,000 gold off. What the hell did he buy? What happened? Where did his buyback go?
I don't know. He has a refresher now. It could have just been the cost. I don't know. Anyways, either way, it doesn't matter. The Invoker alone was throwing down for sure, getting pretty serious with the damage that he was putting in, casting those spells all over the place. But they needed a little bit more than that. The Necrophos did pretty good, but just team fight wise overall, they just like weren't hitting the combos with Ancient Apparition and hitting that Ice Blast. Good plays by Nyx, but they also just couldn't find items that really made them competitive against SG Esports. And I think SG Esports as well just really seemed a pretty clear step ahead in terms of their ganks and their team movement.
Yeah, so many track kills, obviously.
Yeah, that
going
was
to give them a lot of gold. That's why you see like items like Lotus and extra ultimate orb on a hero like Jakiro, who usually is not going to have that. 3 Lincoln Spheres, 2 Lotus orbs. When you're working with a Doom and a Necrophos, that's not a fun place to be. But it is going to just go to show that initiation, man. Like, you got to be able to start those fights. Leposa, absolute all-star as far as that's concerned. It's his only job, but still, the Taka side just couldn't start any fights on their own terms, and that's a good reason why we see them pick up Batrider for themselves very often for Shadowburn, but not to happen this game. Just give me that SG Esports are going to get their spot for ESL One Hamburg, guys. They're locked in. We have broken the 3-0 curse, as Taka did take 1 game, but still that is not going to matter all too much in the grand scheme of things. Guys, we sincerely hope you enjoyed the broadcast. If you did, well, there's no more for this tournament. This is actually the last qualifier until that main event, so keep your eyes open for that. But if you enjoyed the casting, you can hit us up on Twitter. I'm Mike Loris. You can follow me at Mike Loris. For my co-caster, you'll find him at X Television. That's EX Television. Eckstein, any final words before we shut this down?
No, just that it's been a pleasure casting with you, Mike. Really enjoyed it, and thanks for ESL for putting us on, all the teams that competed, and I think it was a great qualifier, not just in South America, all the regions. A lot of fun.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. GG.
Peace out.